Hey everybody, this is Deb with Truthification Chronicles, and wow, what a day! Talk about jam-packed. Well, this is going to be a jam-packed video, so I'm just going to go at it as fast as I can to get these done, and lots of things on various topics, just going to touch on all of them, but here we go, hang on. First of all, Twitter has come out with some information here, a new policy, and basically if your timeline has a video in it that has been manipulated, they're going to label it as manipulated media. Yep, they're going to tell you that it's been manipulated because they think you're too stupid to figure it out, which essentially is going to be targeting memes. And so here they have a little chart on their blog that tells you, is the media significantly and deceptively altered or fabricated? Is the media shared in a deceptive manner? And they give you scenarios with no on that and then 2 with yes on it. Is the content likely to impact public safety or cause serious harm? And then again, no, yes, no, yes. And then they will decide whether to label it, or it's likely to be labeled, may be removed, likely to be labeled, and very likely to be removed. So it depends on how many of them they violate and what they violate. So just want to give you a heads up on that if you have a Twitter account, because I think very likely people like Carpe Donktum and those who do those kind of memes are probably going to be attacked for this. I think it's Twitter's way of stopping that from happening, because they desperately don't want those memes out there, and they don't want Trump retweeting them. That's for sure. Anyway, so then we go on to this, because remember, Twitter's the one who's going to decide if something is deceptively manipulated or not. And so anyway, how about this one? The FCC commissioner rips Twitter for suspending popular conservative account. Yeah, one of the FCC commissioners here, the commissioner Brendan Carr, he said, hard to see how this @comfortably smug tweet, which combined known examples of political satire, violated Twitter's rules against abuse and harassment. And basically what they said, it doesn't have a thing for it, but essentially I think what he said here was something like something about Joe Biden, and he had the word fat. Well, that's because Joe Biden called one of his people, one of the people there at a rally, fat. So it was definitely just a political satire type thing, and it was pretty obvious. And so yeah, they're getting all freaked out because of that. Look at all the horrible things people have said about Trump, but oh no, we don't want to call him out on that. Boy, talk about harassment. Okay, this is an older article. It's from 2017, and I just want to remind you of this because of what's happened at the Iowa caucuses yesterday and today because of the Democrats. You know, I don't really understand after this, why in the world did people even want to put any trust in the Democratic Party? Because if you remember back in 2017, after Bernie got really ripped off because they wanted Hillary to win, well, some of Bernie's people took it to court. There was a lawsuit against the DNC. Well, this is a good article about it, but remember, it's from 2017, so at this time, the writer didn't really know what all was going on. So I'll leave this for you to read. But if you don't recall, they were basically trying to sue the DNC, a bunch of Bernie supporters, because the DNC said and gave the impression that it was a fair process, but in reality, the voters had nothing to do with who was chosen, because the elites controlled that, and they make that deal behind the scenes. Well, here's the actual court case. If you want to go through it and you want to see what all it has to say, it's something to read. This was the motion to dismiss, actually, and this is the transcript of the hearing. Just crazy stuff the DNC was saying. Here's the actual, oh my goodness. It's like, well, we have the right to basically defraud our people. We can tell them that they're going to be supporting somebody, but in reality, we're going to take all those funds and put them to whoever we want. And so their vote matters nothing, which is why the caucuses thing just points it out. You gotta wonder what they were doing in all that time lag if they were trying to figure out, oh no, Joe didn't win. What do we do now? I mean, what happened? Oh, it was an app that was written by Hillary people. So just keep that in mind too. Anyway, not that I want Bernie to run, but just kind of crazy that they keep doing this. And the Democrat people that keep supporting him just don't get a clue. Come on, wake up. How many times does it have to happen? Anyway, the case right here, this is the dismissal because they put in to have it dismissed. And it was because, you know, it was Debbie Wasserman Schultz pulling all the strings. And so anyway, just wanted to remind you of that. It was all swept under the rug and basically gave them carte blanche to do whatever in the world they want and to choose their candidate however they want, which is what they are going to be doing. The vote doesn't matter. People who vote Democrat need to understand in your primaries, the vote doesn't matter. The elites are going to pick who they want to pick, and it doesn't matter what you say. Anyway, okay, how about this one? Now, this is actually a follow-up to something that I covered in a previous video where I told you that Ron Johnson and Chuck Grassley had sent letters to the archive saying, hey, we want these Obama documents. Okay, and so the archive says, yep, it's working on them. And here's just another one. National Archives confirms Senate request for Obama docs and says process is ongoing. So are they going to get them? Well, yeah, but they'll probably drag their feet for the rest of the year. So I don't know how many they're going to get or what, but you got to wonder what's going on over at the National Archives. Do they have their little minions in there? I don't know. But this one I thought was kind of amusing. I'm not going to play it, but I want you to go and see it. It's only a couple minutes long. But now, of course, the title says homophobic because they don't understand the word, you know, Christian and how Christian beliefs can actually influence what you do. Well, this lady, she threw her bid in. You know, they have to get these cards when they go to the caucus as to who they're going to vote for. Well, she got one for Pete. And then she gets in there and somebody said, well, you know, he's gay and he's married to a guy. And she's like, I didn't know that. I want my card back. So then the girl there who was dealing with it was trying to persuade her. And they're both bantering around the word Christian. It was kind of interesting because the girl who was working there, she says, well, I'm a Christian too. And this one's saying, well, then why don't you do what, you know, it says? So I kind of wonder why this woman, if she believes that to be a Christian you actually need to do what the Bible says, why she supports abortion. But, you know, that's something else. But go watch this. It is funny to see her reaction and to see how the other girl tries to counter it. So it's not a matter of homophobia. She's not afraid of gays. I'm not afraid of gays. I just believe that the lifestyle is not according to God's word. So there. I'm not going to persecute anybody for it if they are, but I'm certainly not going to say, yay, cheers for you, because I just can't condone it. And so anyway, that's my stance on it. This one is from the Daily Mail. Joe Biden faces down angry protesters who accuse him of groping in his first New Hampshire event since the party's Iowa caucus fiasco. And get this, the event was sponsored by the Girls Inc. of New Hampshire. Those are the last people in the world that should be sponsoring an event with Joe Biden there. Oh, Joe's got troubles. He was number 4 in Iowa, at least at this point, unless they change something else. But yeah, that's bad news for Uncle Joe. Creepy Uncle Joe. Yep. And so, just wanted to point this out. It does have a video down here, but mostly all you hear are the Biden supporters yelling for the person to get out. But it just, you can't really hear what the person was saying. But if he was, you know, accusing him of groping, that could be big. That could be big. The news is getting out there, folks. And then this was just a little post. This is by this guy right here. He considers himself an entrepreneur, activist, social media for politicians and organizations. But notice what he says here. There were a total of 12 individuals who saw Anthony Weiner's laptop computer which contained incriminating information on Hillary Clinton and other powerful individuals in the United States. 9 of those 12, including the NYPD officers, are dead now. Gee, coincidence? I think not. All right, and then this one was posted, but I have to tell you, I have not found the link for this. When I went to the House Judiciary Committee, I didn't see anything on this. And supposedly they're going to have, an oversight hearing with Wray on Wednesday, February 5th. So I'm not sure. It's supposed to be at 10 a.m. This looks like a regular announcement for it, but when I went to the site, I couldn't find it under hearings. Maybe I just didn't look hard enough. But I did find this one, because this is something that has stuck in the craw of the Democrats for a long time. Citizens United at 10, the consequences for democracy and potential responses by Congress. So they're going to be ripping on Citizens United here. Now, for those who don't know, Citizens United was a conservative group, and it was actually at the heart of a Supreme Court ruling that the Democrats hate. And the reason it went all the way to the Supreme Court was because the case arose after Citizens United, a conservative nonprofit organization, sought to air and advertise a film critical of Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton shortly before the 2008 Democratic primary elections. Now, I think, I could be wrong on this, but I think it was Clinton Cash that they wanted to air. And so anyway, they won the case. So the Supreme Court said they could do that. And that has been the bane of Democrats, because now the Republicans are starting to put out these movies that expose all the things the Democrats are doing. And they don't like that. Gee, I wonder why. Anyway, then I came across this site. Now, I'm going to tell you straight up on this. I'm not sure what to think about this. All right? I think that there is some truth here. I'm not sure how much. So please take anything you read on this site with a grain of salt. I'm just putting it out there because I think it's always good to look at such things. It does border on, a little different and maybe pushing the envelope, and I don't know that there's a lot of solid evidence behind it, but I'm going to tell you what it says. And this is a guy who, his name is Dr. Richard Day. He's deceased now. Ironically, he died of cancer, which I think is kind of funny. But he was saying that they are suppressing cancer cures as a mean of population control. Now, one of the reasons that I am willing to at least go through this, there are a couple reasons. First of all, we do know the 17th letter of the alphabet has indicated that there are cures out there that are being withheld from us. I also know that President Trump has really been saying a lot about new cures. And so that also plays into it. But the third reason is because I happen to know personally a guy who was like the CEO of a cancer research organization where he was the fundraiser guy. He went out and he did all the appearances and everything on TV and in the news to raise funds for this cancer society, or this cancer research foundation. It was called Kansas Research Foundation. And then all of a sudden it up and just closed because it said it met its goal. It got the procedure into trials, human trials. Well, the thing is with this procedure, it's a type of microwave thing. And essentially what they do is they inject these little tiny nano metallic things, and they go and attach themselves onto the tumor, and then they kind of microwave the person so that the metal in those little nano things heats up and it kills the tumor. The trials were really positive. The situation, as I've pieced it together, is that this particular method was non-invasive, first of all. They didn't have to do any cutting or anything, no surgery required. It caused no side effects, and it used no drugs. Well, as I've been able to kind of trail it down, I'm still working on it because it's been very hard to follow, but it was purchased by a pharmaceutical company, I believe. And one indication was that the human trials were not going as well as they thought it should. I know they had done them on animals and they came out very well. So I don't know if that is accurate or if that's just an excuse to keep it under wraps. According to my friend, he believed it worked very well and there should be no problems with the human trials. I haven't talked to him in a few years since it closed and everything, but I just thought it was a very weird situation. And again, I haven't looked into it enough. I mean, I've been trying, but you get dead-ended. And anyway, this has some audios of this guy right here, Dr. Lawrence Dunnigan, and he was referring to something that this Dr. Richard Day had said at a meeting, and he told people not to take notes, and there were no recordings of it. So this is kind of like secondhand evidence, secondhand hearsay of what this guy said. This guy worked for Planned Parenthood. He was like a director, medical director for Planned Parenthood. So again, got to kind of think weird on that. But according to him, from what I gather, there was this meeting where he felt confident enough he could tell people, and he exposed that this was a way of controlling people, that they would keep these cures back so they could, get rid of the inferiors, the lower level creatures, not the elites, and that of course the elites would still have access to it. So anyway, I'll leave this. You can look through it, but please remember, I'm telling you, take it with a grain of salt. Research anything before you accept it as truth. So I'm just saying that. Okay, and then I wanted to remind you that there is, about 147,960 things that are sealed. Now, they're not all indictments. Some of them are different items. And then here are, according to per capita, you can look at it. This is from the highest to the lowest, and you can see where your state might lay in this, but how many sealed there are and everything. So we know that there are sealed documents down there. According to them, it's not slowing down. They're still coming out about 5 to 6 per month. So, and then I'm going to leave this thread because it deals with, who, he whose name cannot be spoken. And I think you might want to read through that. It has to do with connections, a lot of connections there. This is one, and then there's a second one too, and I will put these down below. And just remember, this guy right here is the guy that was on Fox News quite often representing a Democrat point of view. So kind of interesting there. But yeah, you know who. And Rand Paul had an awesome thing today when he did his, and I'm going to put that in a video tomorrow. I just didn't have enough time to go through it, and there's another one I want to put in too. So I'll do that, and unless something else bizarre or weird comes up. I don't know. Anyway, things are happening. I wanted to point this one out to you. I'll leave these links down below, remember, and you can check it out yourself. But state funerals, I just wanted to point out there's been an awful lot of them. Check out all these. So just kind of weird. There's been several of them. Just coincidence? Oh, I don't know. We don't know. So anyway, that's what I've got for you on this one. I want to thank you for stopping by, and I'll see y'all later.